Call Haloyam La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shah Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. I want to give a double honors to the apostles and the elders that prophesize and rule well for the hopeful 144 and the 1/3 of Yasharallah, who this world refers to as Israel, starting at the house of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, Akim, who teach and learn in sincerity. Shalom to the Akwith, who learn in sincerity. It's your brother, Kanan, from the Sindianapolis camp. And I want to name this a prudent man. And okay, the story is, it's midnight and I'm laying in the bed, not asleep, prayed up, not asleep. And all of a sudden, the Lord downloaded to my heart, my mind, prudent. Now I'm laying in the bed for a few minutes and I'm thinking about prudent and what it means. I grab my cell phone. Here's the definition of prudent: acting with or showing care and thought for the future. Okay? Now, this is going to become a lesson in a lesson, because Great Millstone, here at Great Millstone, we've been honored to have the apostles, great mighty teachers, the elders, also great mighty teachers, and you, Akim. And what have we been taught? To do research, okay? Don't take our word for it. Research, study to find thyself approved. So I go into this definition of prudent, right? And the first thing I did was Google precepts around prudent, and it came up with a whole bunch of scriptures, as you know it would. Okay, so here is 1 Samuel chapter 16 and 18. Okay, and I want to be the first to tell you this was not the first precept I wanted to go grab. So let me explain this. This says, then answered one of the servants and said, behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, Bethlehemite, okay, from Bethlehem, that is cunning and plain and mighty, violent man, and a mighty violent man, and a man of war, and prudent and matter, and a comely person, and the Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai is with him, okay? And this is explaining David, okay? Wherefore Saul sent messengers unto Jesse and said, send me David, thy son, which is with the sheep, okay? So this is talking about King David. Now let's go get that definition. Here it goes. Prudent.
Strong's H 995. Bean.
Being, okay? And it says to discern, understand, consider. Okay, now that goes right along with what I Googled. Acting with or showing care or thought for the future, okay? So King David had discernment, which is a beautiful thing, because what are we doing right now and putting in these works? We're building the temple, the spiritual temple of King David, the election, the government. Okay, now, this is where this lesson is headed. When I looked up these precepts, this is the first precept I was going to jump into because it seemed like it made sense, okay? This is Proverbs 12 and 16. A fool's wrath is presently known, okay? But a prudent man conceiveth shame, okay? So I looked this up, and that seems like that fit into a man being wise and not. And let's get the Bible comparison, okay? This is the NIV. Fools show their annoyance at once, but the prudent overlook an insult, okay? But as I went in and I did research, look what I come to find out.
Strong's H, 6175. Arum.
Okay.
Arum. Second entry,
Crafty.
Arom. Arom.
So it's a different meaning to this word prudent here. Okay. And I got more proof of that too. Now, we're going to go to Isaiah. This is 3 and 2. It says, a mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient. Okay, you see that word prudent once again. Let's grab the definition of that.
Strong's H, 7080. Kasam. Kasam.
Now, what is this word going into? A practicer of divinations. That's a witch. Okay? Of divinations of nations. Bellum. That's the devil. Of false prophets of Israel. Okay? The same word being used to describe something else. We ever heard that? Okay? I'm going to go into the main example of that here in a second. Okay? But in the meanwhile, I have another version of this word for you. Okay? And if you notice, all of these have been H. All of these have been in Hebrew. Okay? So once again, these words would be spoken different in the Hebrew tongue. You wouldn't use the same word to describe these as written in the Bible. That's why, once again, we have to go and dive into the meaning of these words. See, I could have just ran off a list of precepts and I would have been using the wrong example. Okay, and that's the importance of what I'm trying to go into. Because like I said, this just came to my heart while I was laying down. And I thought I was going in one direction and it became a whole different lesson. The water Yahabashim Yahushai. Okay, this is Amos 5 and 13. Therefore, the prudent shall keep silence in that time, for it is an evil time, bad times. Okay, once again, we're going to go grab this prudent. This is
Strong's H, 7919. Sachel. Sachel.
circumspect, wisely, understanding. Okay? So that lines more back up with what I thought it did, along with the 1 Samuel 16 and 18, even though those are two different words. That one was H 995. Okay, but it still goes into wisdom, where we seen Amos 3 and 2 was describing that word as a false prophet. So I wouldn't want to use that example to be that word to be describing King David, because if you use that definition of prudent, then you're basically saying that King David was a false prophet. But that's not what that word's going into. Okay. Here's one more. Matthew 11 and 25. Okay. At that time, Yahushai answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid the things from the wise and prudent, and has revealed them unto babes. Okay? Now we're going to get this definition of the same. Would if you wasn't researching, you would say this is the same word. Okay?
Strong's G, 4908. Sunetas. Sunetas.
Now notice, this is in the Greek. Intelligence, having understanding, wise, learn. Okay? So that's coming from Yahushai, and that's in the Greek. Okay? So once again, you got to know how you're dealing with these words. Now, I'm going to give you the number one example of people misusing these words. And we got to go here. This is John 3:16. For Yahweh Bashim Shai so loved the world, everybody's favorite, every Christian's favorite, that he gave his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, let's go get it. That word, that famous word that sets the scripture that sets the scripture on fire, the world. Okay.
Strong's G 2889. Cosmos.
Okay.
Cosmos.
An important, appointed, and harmonious agreement, or come on now, or construction, order, government. It's okay, ornament. And where is it, man? Earth. Okay. Arrangement of stars, the heavenly hosts, and the ornament of the heavens. And what cosmos goes into is a family. Okay. This harmonious arrangement is our family, the order, government, a body, a nation. That's what that word goes into. Okay, now everybody uses that as their go-to for accepting Christianity. But here's where I want to prove them wrong. In the same book of John 17:9. Everybody overlooks this. The same book, Yahweh Shai, red letter. I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. Now let's go get that word world, okay? What do you see there? Cosmos. The same definition. Okay? Arrangement amongst Yasharallah. So that world that he's praying for is our nation. And there's Bible verses that back it up. All throughout the Bible, Yahweh Basim Halashai only cares for Yasharallah. Okay, now, let me go give you other definitions of that same word, world, so we don't have it mistaken that only means one thing. This is Matthew 24:14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto the nations, and then shall the end come. Okay, now this is the world that you so-called rich Christians wish that Yahweh Shai was speaking of in John 3:16. Best believe this is the world that you wanted to mean right here.
Strong's G 3625. Oikumene.
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 Now, this is the proportion of the earth inhabited by Greeks, which that's not what it actually means. We can go down. The whole habitations, earth, the world. Okay, that's oikomenes, the ground. Had John 3:16 said oikomenes, G 3:624, we'd have a whole nother argument, because it would be speaking about the whole world, the planet Earth. But it's not. Cosmos is our family. It's your nation, our nation, okay? I'm going to back that up again. This is Luke 4:5. And the devil, taking him into an high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. Okay, now doesn't that make sense? He took him to a high pinnacle and showed him the whole earth. Okay, the whole world. Now let's get that. Let's prove it. Don't take it from me. Here we go.
Strong's G 3625. Oikumene. oikumene,
Once again, we're going to go down to see the whole inhabited earth, the world. Okay, so that's not referring to John 3:16. This is a whole nother world. And we're not going to stop there. I got another definition for you. Matthews 13 and 39. The enemy that sold them, the enemy that sold them is the devil. He harvests in the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Okay? Now let's get this version of world. Notice it said at the end of the world.
Strong's G 165, Ion.
When we say eon, okay? And what this says? Forever, an unbreakable age, okay? The world, a period of time, an age. So eon means a time period. And right now, what eon are we in? We're in the current eon of Esau, the Romans, who came back from that bruise, that deadly wound. It got healed, where it said that we will rebuild again. And Yahweh Shai said they will rebuild, but I will throw back down. And this is the time period that we're witnessing right now. That's why we're out on these highways and byways preaching the downfall of spiritual Babylon, because this is the end of this eon. So that was just three different examples of world, because once again, I was laying in the bed and Purdent came to my mind. I looked it up, and this is what I got from it. Acting with or showing care and thought for the future, meaning walking circumspect, be wise, okay? And once again, it said that in 1 Samuel about King David. That's why he was selected, because he was a prudent man. But then you go to Amos 5 and 13, and that word prudent means a deceiver, a false prophet. Okay? So Salakia, Isaiah 3 and 2, false prophet. Okay? The one in Amos actually came back to being wise too. That's H 79:19, showing wisdom. Okay? And this is this example that came to my heart, because once again, I know about the three definitions of world. Matter of fact, I believe it's four, but I know of these three definitions of world: your cosmos, your cosmos, your arrangement of our family, your oikomenes, the earth that we walk in, the eon, the time period that we are living in. Now, I'm not gonna go just Google the word world and start pulling precepts, but I was close to doing that with prudent, until I started looking up the definition of prudent to make sure that this is what this word was going into. Okay. And a simple worldly, my favorite example of this is the word sun that we use today, that we interchange with the sun in the sky and your child, John or Tim or whatever his name be, your son. Okay. Now, some people worship the sun in the sky, the S-U-N. We worship Yahweh's son, the S-O-N of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. We worship that son, okay? So with that, I pray that this was informational and edification. And basically what this taught me is do your research. Before you know, we got to rightfully divide these scriptures, okay? Not this throw up work just to be saying we did work. Shalom.